would already be striking. If it comes down to not budging on the rev split situation, the strike would already have happened. The strike would already have happened. There's no way in hell the players will get the revenue structure that they want. They could get the pay that they ask for, or close to the pay they ask for, but they can't get the structure because of the way the league's payment is structured. And Adam Silver shut that down from the very start. Like, he's probably the person that wants
that strong belief that a strike will happen shows how serious the situation is right now. Many people don't realize that the WNBA CBA issue is not just a normal disagreement between players and owners. It's a deep conflict about how the league shares its money. And the real power is not only with the people sitting at the negotiation table. Adam Silver rejected the revenue sharing plan the players asked for from the beginning. It wasn't because the league couldn't afford it or because the math didn't make sense. The problem is that some NBA owners, who also have voting power over WNBA decisions, want to stop losing money and even shut the league down. So the players are trying to negotiate with people who may actually benefit if the league fails. And those owners have just as much influence as the ones who truly want the league to succeed.
At the end of the day, though, they did offer an extra $50K per player. And I don't think the league are going to accept this proposal, by the way. But my guess is the league are going to come back and say, okay, and instead of talking about split percentages and everything, say 7 million. 7 million. All they're projected. When you're talking about, oh, we'll give you, this is your base and it can work up to this. No. What you say we can work up to, that's not our base salary. And push it up to 7 million. For 12 players, it's an average of 600K each, 1.5 million max. And we're good. And that is what I think the players will come back with. And that is an amount that I don't think the league are going to push back on. I don't think they're going to push back on.
Here's where the negotiations stand right now. The league's newest offer includes an extra $50,000 for each player, along with better housing, charter flights, and improved rookie contracts. On paper, that sounds like a big deal. An extra $50,000 for 12 players equals $600,000 more per team. For mid-level and lower-paid players, who make up most of the league, that's meaningful money. But the players haven't responded yet, and that silence seems intentional. Their next move could decide whether there will even be a 2025 WNBA season. The league wants to set the average team salary at about $5.65 million. The players first asked for $10 million per team. That gap is the heart of the negotiation. My prediction is they'll eventually settle somewhere between $7 million and $7.5 million per team.
Per team per year, I don't think the league is going to be, not the league's not going to push back on it. I don't think the league are going to say no. I think it's going to be done. That would be my assumption. 50,000 more per player is pretty nice, as well as extra housing, issues, current rookie deals. Last year's the older players seem to touch on the contention issues, majority of low to mid-level players, which are the majority. My guess is that the WNBA explained they want better gross revenue. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And my guess in the meeting is like, look, we can work with you on some things, but with the way our league revenue is structured, we can't give you gross revenue.
Here's the key math. If the players come back and ask for an average team salary of $7 million for 12 players, that works out to about $600,000 per player, with top contracts around $1.5 million. That's about double what many players earn right now. It's also a number the league could possibly afford without changing how its revenue system works. And that's the real issue, not just the total money, but how it's calculated. The players want a system where they receive a percentage of league revenue, so their pay increases automatically as the WNBA grows. The league, however, is offering fixed salary amounts that would need to be renegotiated later. One system allows players to benefit directly from the league's growth. The other keeps them relying on future negotiations. The league isn't just unwilling to give that percentage model it may feel it can't. That's because the NBA ownership structure includes many stakeholders, and some might prefer ending the league over giving up long-term profit potential.
And that is unfortunate for the players. But I do think in general that they can obviously go and look for more money, which I think they're going to do. The players have not responded with an inflatable rat. The players have not responded to this. And by the way, like, it is Monday. All-Star Weekend is Saturday. These players are not very good at keeping secrets, by the way. They're not very good at it. If they were going to strike at All-Star Weekend, we would know. We would absolutely know if they're going to strike on All-Star Weekend. It is obvious that this is being considered. And I think the league are going to, or the players are going to go back to the league.
Here's why things feel so tense right now. It's Monday, February 9th, and All-Star Weekend is just 6 days away. On February 15th, WNBA players are usually terrible at keeping secrets. If they were planning a strike for All-Star Weekend, we'd probably already know. Someone would have posted a hint on social media, a reporter would have caught wind of private discussions, or the Whisper network would be buzzing. But since the league's latest proposal came out, there's been total silence. That silence could mean one of two things. Either the players are unusually disciplined and keeping their plan secret, or they're seriously considering the offer and a strike isn't about to happen. I'd bet on the second option. Historically, the WNBA Players Association tends to act on emotion rather than careful PR strategy. Remember when they posted that long statement about the NBA holding them back and randomly mentioned people watching Liz Thomas and sending angry emails to Kathy Engelbert? That had nothing to do with contract negotiations, it was just venting, not strategy.
The league wants to pay $5.65 million. The players wanted 10. Somewhere in the middle. Maybe 7. Maybe 7. 7 to 7.5 million. And that's something that I do believe that they can negotiate for. Because at the end of the day, if they try to argue what they believe they deserve, there's always the side of the owners and of a lot of other people that, well, your league lost money for 30 years and was being propped up by the NBA.
Here's probably what the league told the players behind closed doors, because that's where the real discussions happen, not in press releases. In private meetings with lawyers and team reps, they likely laid out the hard truth. They might have said something like, "We get that you want revenue sharing that grows as the league grows, we want that too. But here's the reality. Our ownership includes NBA teams that have been subsidizing the WNBA for 27 years. Some owners support the league, some are neutral, and some actually want to shut it down to stop losing money. These owners have voting power. They can block any CBA that changes how revenue is shared. And if we push them too far, they won't just vote no, they could vote to dissolve the league entirely. That's not a threat. That's just how the ownership structure works."
Multi-billionaires who are these multi-billionaires who you have to have a certain time mindset to make as much money as they have in the first place. So I would love it if I thought, I'm absolutely on the players making every cent that they can. But I also think that the players not making any money and the league shutting down is going to prevent the players from making all the money they can. And it could be an absolute disaster for women's ball. But that's pretty much it, lads. Let me know, do you guys agree or disagree with this? Because we're now in the final stretch. We are in the home stretch. We will probably know, it's the 9th of February.
That's why this whole situation is so frustrating. The players aren't wrong, they deserve more. The WNBA is stronger than ever, ratings are up, attendance is up, and Caitlin Clark's rookie season brought huge attention and revenue. The league could probably stand on its own without NBA subsidies. But business doesn't work on what's fair, it works on leverage and existing contracts. The NBA has been funding the WNBA since 1997, covering decades of losses, and they still own a big stake. Now that the league is finally close to turning a profit, those owners aren't going to voluntarily give up future earnings just because it's fair. These are billionaires, they didn't get rich by leaving money on the table. They protect every revenue stream and maximize every investment. That's not a moral judgment, that's just how money works at that level.
Like, sometimes they will post and say dumb shit. Sending angry emails to Kathy Engelbert, like, what relevance is that? What relevance is that at all? But look, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and hopefully we can start talking about free agency. Hopefully we can start talking about free agency.
Where things stand with just 1 week until All-Star Weekend. The players face a tough choice. Is pushing for the revenue structure they deserve worth risking the entire season? That's the reality. They could demand percentage-based revenue sharing and risk a strike that might wipe out the league's momentum, or they could accept a big pay increase under the current system and save their leverage for the future. Neither option feels perfect, one seems like giving in, the other like a huge gamble. A strike wouldn't just cost players their 2025 salaries. It would erase the progress the league has been building. Caitlin Clark's highly anticipated second season would vanish, Paige Becker's rookie year would be delayed, new teams in Golden State and Toronto would have to postpone their debuts, and casual fans could move on. The WNBA has spent 27 years trying to break into mainstream attention. 2024 was a breakthrough, and a strike in 2025 could undo that in weeks. That's not to argue against the players' right to strike, it's just the reality. Some NBA owners really would rather shut the league down than change the revenue model. The smart move? Take the $7 million per team average. That doubles most players' salaries, locks in housing improvements, charter flights, and better rookie contracts, and keeps the league growing for a few more years. Then in 2028, the players can return to the table with more leverage, higher ratings, and a stronger negotiating position. It's not perfectly fair, but fairness and strategy aren't the same. Players currently making $200,000 could see $400,000 next season, and stars could double or even more. That's life-changing money, and it's lost if there's no season. My prediction, by Friday, February 14th, the players will counter with $7 million per team. The league will accept it's only $1.35 million more per team than their $5.65 million offer, or $16 million across 12 teams, which they can absorb without changing their revenue model. Both sides will claim victory, players for historic pay increases and better conditions, the league for financial sustainability. The season will happen, but the bigger fight isn't over. Eventually, the WNBA's revenue structure will have to change. You can't run a league generating hundreds of millions while paying players fixed salaries that don't grow with it. Here's the bottom line. The current model, fixed salaries that don't scale with league growth, might hold for another 3 years, but it won't last a decade. Eventually, the WNBA will need an ownership structure fully invested in the league's success, and players will need percentage-based revenue sharing like every other major pro sport. But that day isn't today. Right now, the question is whether there will even be a 2025 season, and my bet is yes, because neither side can afford for there not to be one. Watch the next 6 days closely. If All-Star Weekend arrives without a deal, that's when things get dangerous. But if the players counter with $7 million per team and the league accepts, we'll see Caitlin Clark's second season, Paige Becker's rookie debut, and continued growth for professional women's basketball. What's at stake isn't just money or principle, it's the league's future trajectory, right when it finally has real mainstream momentum. The real question is whether both sides are smart